Live from Canton, Ohio. What is going on? I am Matt O'Leary, joined by the great Boy Green and Jake Asman. We got the three of us on in one spot. We were all at the Hall of Fame ceremony today, so that's where we will start. We saw Joe Klecko, we saw Darrelle Revis go in. We'll start with Boy Green. What did you think of today?
Sure. First off, I don't know. The people offset did not give me the stool that I requested, but that's okay. The festivities were amazing. I mean, it was exactly what we were hoping for, and even beyond that with Revis and Klecko both going in, paired along with the Hall of Fame game. So we've had this beautiful clash. We had it obviously today with Revis and Klecko, but really the modern football players that we just saw on Thursday night, and then you go to today with the Hall of Fame. It's just a beautiful weekend. It's amazing to take it all in. My first time here ever. Electric atmosphere, and the Jet fans have been wild.
Yeah, absolutely, Jake. I know, same thing with me. Long Island kid, your dad is a Jet fan. It gets passed on down. So how cool is it that you get Joe Klecko, who's like, our dad's generation, and then our guy, Darrelle Revis, going?
Man, the whole weekend's been so surreal. Then you get the Hall of Fame game, too, where they're being honored and the Jet fans come out. It's been incredible, man. Obviously, like, the Browns have a ton of fans here because we're in Ohio and we're not far from Cleveland. But then after that, I mean, just the sea of green, the sea of Jet fans that have taken over Kent. It's been fun, man. And from the second you got here to where we are now, there are just Jet fans everywhere.
Yeah, my favorite part about the activities today was the JETS chant after the Joe Klecko induction. And Jake, you had a little behind the scenes. You knew something was coming there.
Yeah, so I mean, where I was for the beginning portion of the ceremony today, I ran into Fireman Ed, who I've gotten to know over the last couple of years, and he says, "Hey, I got to make sure I get down when Klecko is getting ready to start his speech." Because, I got a little surprise for all the Jet fans that are going to be involved into it. So I'm thinking to myself, is he in his speech? Is there going to be something with like a Jet chant involved? And then at the end, when Klecko teed up Fireman Ed to lead the Jet chant, I'm like, this is the big surprise that Fireman Ed was referring to. So that was awesome, man. Just the chants and how loud the fans were getting into it before the speech, during the speech, after the speech. That was surreal, man. I'm sure Joe Klecko had chills when he heard those chants.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And rumor has it, Boy Green, that one of your tweets actually kind of sparked a controversy between Joe Klecko and Darrelle Revis. But good news, apparently the beef is squashed, which is really the most important thing. But just your thoughts of Klecko and Darrelle Revis' speech. I thought it was really cool that he mentioned Rex Ryan, a coach we all grew up in love.
Oh, yeah. So going, Klecko was first, Revis was second. But going to Revis, again, I didn't know where we were. Like Klecko, who's been waiting for so long, you had some sense of how he was going to kind of frame. And obviously the players now have even less time with limits and things with their time. So I thought I kind of had a historical path of where Klecko was going to go. And he surprised me with a lot of stuff. But Darrelle Revis, what he brought to the table, I thought was special. It was fun. It gave back to the fans because I think a lot of us Jet fans were kind of like, how are you going to react to that? He embraced the Jet fans, which is awesome because, again, that's how Revis Island became a thing. It was the support of the Jet fans. So even though he's been at a bunch of different places and there's a bunch of logos on that screen I wish weren't there, Chiefs, Buccaneers, and Patriots, forgot to initiate the cat brief, like that's disgusting. But anywho, I didn't want to see some of that on the screen, but ultimately, full circle, he gave great stuff, Klecko gave great stuff, and, I anticipated. The thing I didn't know, though, from Jake, when he called out to Fireman Ed, I was like, wow, Joe Klecko would spur the moment just calling out to Fireman Ed, hey, let's get a great Jet chant. And then we get the secret sauce, Jake Asman, Scoopski guy. He brings it in that it all comes full circle. It's beautiful that they both gave back to the Jet fans because the Jets gave to them throughout their entire careers.
Absolutely. And the scoops don't stop there. Apparently, Woody Johnson going on with a Jets YouTuber. Jake, can you fill us in?
Woody said he watches the podcast and he's a fan. And I said, you got to come on. He says, I would love to. And so he said he'd come on. I'm going to hold you to that, Woody, because we want to hear from you before maybe the most anticipated Jet season in 13 years. But, man, if he comes on the show, I mean, that's a representation of all the Jet YouTubers out there for him to do that. So I hope it happens, man. You see the chain he was wearing? I'm sure Sauce maybe gave him that. He was wearing like a diamond Jet chain watching the ceremony today with Klecko and Revis, which I thought was awesome. So we'll see. But how funny would that be if we get Woody on the show, man?
I love it. That's fantastic for all of us, Jets content guys. But we were all at the game as well on Thursday, so kind of want to work back to that.
Sure.
Well, your biggest takeaway from Thursday night?
Yeah, I was talking about it a little bit on Jake's show earlier this week. I think for me, I don't get to go to every game. So, there are certain things that you could tell when you're live at the game that you can't tell in other places. And one of the big things I have to just keep giving the praise and love to Will McDonald, who got plenty of PT in that game, so I had plenty to evaluate. But the pop off the line of scrimmage, I think he was a polarizing pick in a lot of ways because we didn't see it coming, and then pass rusher, a lot of us kind of went, didn't really see that. So for him to show this juice and what is a room that we already, think is pretty loaded, like Jake was saying it, like, okay, you guys are complaining out there, but you got to throw somebody out there. All of us are looking at the jet like, well, you can't play him, you can't play him, you can't play that guy. Well, you got to play some guy, and he was one of the guys that was playing out there. So I loved it. You got to give a shout out to Will. That was amazing to see. And then also, I think in the reverse way, the guys that didn't play spoke messages to me. Rucker, Tony Adams. It's like, oh, okay. So the Tony Adams like, haha, this is a fun undrafted free agent story. Oh, hell no. He's a starter, baby. He's coming for some gigs. That to me, there was some mustard on that sandwich. Yeah.
Absolutely. And how about you, Jake?
I thought Zach Wilson looked better as far as his footwork and comfortability in the pocket. I would have liked to have seen him play, though, the entire first half.
Yeah.
I didn't need to see 2 quarters of Tim Boyle on Thursday night. I think Zach Wilson could have played the entire first half, and he could have been the one at the end of that first half to lead. Hey, 30 seconds left, 2 timeouts, go get a field goal with Zerline at the end there. That could have been his drive. So that to me stood out. I agree with you guys. McDonald, Tippmann, I think another name we should highlight.
Yes,
you go back and watch the film. He graded out really well. By the the PFF people that do that for a living.
So he's not a bust?
So he is not a bust.
Oh, I just want to clarify. It was a little confusing for a little bit on social media, but
he might end up here one day, or he might end up being a bust. But I do know this: we don't know what he is in early August. So any Jeff fan who was out on Joe Tippmann already, you probably need to lay off the drugs.
Yeah, good advice.
You heard it here first. But for me, my thing was, I don't know about you guys, but I was a little nervous with Will McDonald and Bryce Huff playing so deep into this game in the fourth quarter. I just have bad memories of guys getting hurt in preseason games, whether it's Chad Pennington or more recently Mark Sanchez. And that's kind of a good transition to, I think, what's going on earlier today. I mean, we were all here at the Hall of Fame induction, but there's training camp going on too. And Jermaine Johnson, we love you. Year 2 breakout, but could we stay away from the quarterback, please? What do you think?
Yeah, and that's the thing that it actually, because again, it looks like, okay, Aaron Rodgers is fine. And from everything we hear, he's good to go. But again, it was a warning that Robert Saleh kind of told his players and getting ready to tell the Carolina Panthers staff, because these joint practices are intimate. It's both coaches kind of coming across. We're both trying to get work here. We're both trying to go hard, but trying to make sure no one's hurt. And that was like a reiterated message Saleh said earlier today to the Panthers, like, hey, don't touch number 8 or any of the red jerseys for that matter. So, Jermaine, for the love of everything that's holy, dude, like, come on, we've got a special season here. Back up, man. We know that he's got this great pass rush and then the offensive line questions we've had, so some of these guys are creeping into the backfield a little bit more freely and easily than normal. So, yeah, just stay away. Hopefully the same thing for the joint practices. And for me, I don't know where you guys stand in this. I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers in the preseason. I didn't want to see him before this toe situation where he's getting curb stopped on the toe. I didn't want to see him before that. Now I double don't want to see him. Let's roll out week 1, and then I'm willing to roll the dice with whatever injuries and things are going to happen this season. I don't need to see Aaron Rodgers. I think he's a veteran. He's been there, done that. I don't think I need to see it.
Yeah, Jake, for you, do you want to see Rodgers at all in the preseason, or are you with Paul? Just ride it. Let's get to September 11th. All healthy.
Yeah, I don't think you need to play him at all. It's too risky. I don't think the quote unquote work he could get for a drive or two is worth the risk of him, God forbid, suffering a significant injury. You have joint practices with 2 NFL teams as well, right? You got Carolina coming up later this week, with Tampa Bay after that. That should be plenty of time for Aaron Rodgers and the starters to get their work in a simulated game-like environment. He doesn't need to play in the preseason. The last thing the Jets need is to tempt fate with Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely. And the last thing for me today, so we got the Billy Turner at left tackle and Max Mitchell starting right tackle. Any concern yet with the offensive? Like, Dwayne Brown, is he ever coming back at this point? Saleh was still saying like a couple weeks away. We're getting a couple weeks, you're getting a little close to the start of the season here. So any concern of the offensive line? I'll start with you.
Yeah, let me channel the Sean McDermott, the Stephon Diggs thing. Hey, is there any concern? Very concerned. Very concerned. Yeah, I'm very concerned. Again, you're right. I didn't go to college for math, but a couple of weeks I'm starting to do the dates and the times on the calendar, and we're running out of time. Now, again, there's a massive level of respect that Aaron Rodgers has said kind of off the cuff, and so has others, that Dwayne Brown's a warrior. He's been there, done that, and we all love that. But at the end of the day, like, you gotta strap up. You gotta show up, and that's the thing that for me that's wildly concerning, because, again, if he's not, you just warned us about the story. It's in like Goosebumps chapter 4. You just said, hey, if you pick this is what happens. And if this is what happens, Billy Turner and Max Mitchell are on the field, and I'm doing prayers. We're doing group prayers before, and I'm like, God bless Aaron. Throw the ball quick, pal. That's my advice. See ya, because that's what's happening with this offensive line. It's scary as hell. Yeah, very concerned. Yes.
Same to you.
Yeah, I mean, look, Dwayne Brown, I heard Salah say about 2 weeks away from practicing. I would give him about 3 weeks from the season. How do we know he doesn't get a setback when he comes back from injury? So they are tempting fate a little bit. And obviously, Mekhi Becton, he's nowhere near, it seems like, able to play a full game at this stage yet. So there is a chance opening night is Billy Turner and Max Mitchell. I still think it'll be Dwayne Brown at left tackle and either Max Mitchell or Turner at right tackle, if not Becton. But you would like to see Dwayne Brown back out there on the field. I know it's 2 weeks, but still gives him 3 weeks to play. And look, he's a veteran. He doesn't need 5 weeks to get ready for a season. But when he's back, he's got to stay healthy. And the closer you get to the year, if he does suffer that setback, then you start to talk about week 1 being in jeopardy.
No, for sure. And look, it's been an absolute blast hanging out with you guys over the last few days. I can't believe, wasn't it so cool how many Jet fans came out to jerseys last night?
Oh, that was the cool thing for me. And again, those one-on-one stories, we talked to a lot of people kind of as a group. We're all three of us just talking to people. But some of those one-on-ones were pulled aside at the bar or something like that. And these guys that are Jet fans, just like we're Jet fans, giving us that love and saying, hey, we came out for you guys. Man, a couple of them are like, Jesus, I'm in the middle of Ohio. There's no other Jet fans. And that was so humbling that you guys, are those things that keep them going as Jet fans alone in Ohio for what's happening. So that to me is really cool. It's awesome that we can have that kind of impact on people. That's a pretty special connection we have with Jet fans.
Absolutely, Jake. What do you think of jerseys?
Oh, man, great job with the venue, Matt. You
Yes.
picked an awesome location. That needs to be said again. And we had a stage leading, just full of Jet fans with, the Jet chants, about 200, 250 people there easily. It was just incredible atmosphere, incredible vibes, and, so many people making the trip to come out. We can't thank them enough.
Yeah, absolutely. For Jake Asman and Boy Green, I'm Matt O'Leary, live from Canton. We'll talk to you soon.